Sterling High School, Channel 19, winner of the National Emmy Award for the Best Live Game Broadcast.
You're watching Sterling High School, Channel 19, serving Hynella, Laurel Springs, Magnolia, Summerdale, and Stratford.
For the first time since 1971, Sterling is South Jersey champ.
Went on to become the New Jersey Tournament of Champions winner. South Jersey's never won it before. So the Sterling Lady Knights and that string sing. South Jersey is well represented now.
Sterling is going to the championship game.
Looks like he's fouled there. Put on a desperation shot, and there he goes. It's good! It's good!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sterling Channel 19. As I am glad to bring you guys this Friday night SmackDown, and we're going to have our Sterling Silver Knights going against the Gateway Gators. Sterling at a 5-5 record, 1-1 in the division. Gateway at 3-8 and 1-2. As we take a look at the Colonial Patriots standings, the Collingswood Panthers having a really good season overall, 12-3, and then in the division they are 4-0. The Haddon Township Hawks 4-8 overall, 2-1 in the division, and then Sterling Silver Knights at a 5-5 overall record, 1-1 in the division. The Gateway Gators 3-8 overall, 1-2 in the division, and then the Haddon Heights Gardens 4-6 overall, 0-2 in the division, and then Lindenwold 2-6 and 0-3. So taking a look at Sterling and Gateway comparison, Sterling third in the Colonial Patriot, as I mentioned before. Gateway fourth, Sterling with that 5-4 record. Gateway 3-8. Offense, it averages around 40 points per match, while Gateway a little bit on the lower side with 21 points per match. Defense for Sterling, or I guess you could say points given up, 37 per match to Gateway's 54. Some great wrestlers for this Sterling team. Joe Carter at a 10-7 record, wrestling at the 132 level. And then Rene Camacho wrestling at the 165 level with a 9-5 record. Anthony Gogolski, a.k.a. Gogo, with a 9-3 record wrestling at the 175. And then Big Dog Kenny McCardle at the 190 wrestling spot with a 10-4 record. And then on the other side for Gateway, Christian Snyder wrestling at 113 with a 10-5 record. One of the good positive spots for this Gateway squad. Leo Butler as well with the 126 weight class, 10-7 on the year. And then Aiden Barbado, 132, 11-6 on the year. So thank you all for tuning in. I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Jake Clark and Addison Bazulis. And I mean, Jake, we watched this wrestling squad go at it, a little bit earlier in the week. What are you expecting from them today?
Well, it was a tough match for them against a very talented Audubon team who's now moving up to 14-1 on the year. And this Gateway team, 3-8, 1-2 in the Colonial Patriot, and I think that this is a good opportunity for Sterling to get over 500 in their division. And Dan, the last time that Sterling has beaten Gateway was all the way back in 2011. So definitely trying to change the tide as of recently with this head-to-head matchup.
And I mean, this program, switching tides as well. And I mean, this is a good stepping stone, try and propel themselves, going forward, especially against the Gateway team, who has won the last 14 matches against Sterling. Sterling's last win against Gateway came in January 2011. So to put that in perspective, it is definitely something, a big positive if Sterling can get a win here. So the introductions go here between Sterling and Gateway. And I think, Jake, what we jump to the conclusion with is I think Sterling, it may jump out to a pretty early lead here after a few forfeits from the Gateway side.
Yeah, well, by the looks of it, I believe that Gateway doesn't have a single 165 on their roster. That all could have changed with the weights the wrestlers made today, but coming into this one, looks like Rene Camacho will get a forfeit, but something to keep in mind is, as we saw in the last match, 106 through 120 for Sterling, 3 freshmen, and 113, 120, and 132 with Christian Snyder, Leo Butler, and Aiden Barbado were the wrestlers that we highlighted for Gateway. So look at them to maybe have the advantage in the lighter weights, but giving up a couple forfeits maybe on the later end, and Sterling having the better wrestlers in the heavier weights. This one should be interesting to see how it shakes out.
Yeah, and Jake, I was just about to mention that. I think just like last match, Sterling definitely a little bit weaker on the smaller side in terms of wrestlers. They do make it up on the back end, though, with Camacho, Kogolski, McCardle, Crawford, and Mullen, who really kind of carry them. As it looks like we are going to be starting off with the 106 class today to start. It'll be Ryan Pleece versus Marley St. Sue. So Pleece, a freshman, a 4-10 record. St. Sue for the Gateway side, and this will be a good match for both of these wrestlers. Glad to bring you guys here again. Friday night SmackDown between Sterling and Gateway. Again, I'm Daniel Leakin, joined by Jay Clark, Addison Bazulis.
You can see there the ankle bands on each wrestler. Pleece wearing green, St. Sue wearing red. And that just makes it a little easier for the official to know which wrestler is being awarded which points. So Sterling in today's match is green. If you ever see the official hold up points for green, it's for Sterling. Red is for Gateway. And that's important because both these teams are wearing blue. Neither of them are red or green, so it makes it a little bit difficult where the official wants to go with that.
Yeah, the past couple of times we've covered wrestling here, we have gone against the green team. As now Ryan Pleece looking for the early pin here against St. Sue. Riley got himself 4 points. Great job there from Pleece to start. Getting on the offensive here, trying to turn St. Sue to her side. Still pushing on.
I'm going to take a look. St. Sue just gets flipped over there by Ryan Pleece, and Pleece still going to work. He looks like he's trying to lock up a cradle.
About a minute left here in period number 1. Pleece at the advantage right now, 7-0.
Yeah, he has the cradle locked up. Just has to get St. Sue. Well, now St. Sue's flat, so Pleece has to reset and try and work something. Looks like he's trying to sneak in a half here.
Pleece only has 40 seconds to execute here. St. Sue in a bit of a rough spot. It's Pleece now trying to lock something in here.
And this is a good job by Ryan Pleece. The half didn't work, reset, and St. Sue gave him the cradle, and now he locked it up looking for the pin.
And he gets it. Great job there by Ryan Pleece. He gets the dub in the first match of the day over St. Sue, and Sterling jumps out to an early 6-0 lead.
Well, Danny had the half, and then earlier St. Sue gets in a position where she's vulnerable for the cradle, and Pleece locks it up, is able to keep that cradle tight, and sticks St. Sue for the pin.
Now, Jake, Gallucci is a kid. As we mentioned, as we take a look at the replay of Pleece's pin, and when we really look at this from a wide perspective, we mentioned that he's a freshman and all, but a kid with a lot of potential sitting at a 7-10 record.
Yeah, absolutely. In last match, we saw him against Audubon. He went against one of the better 113s in the South Jersey area, if not the state. And Rocco Monteferrante is Gallucci already taken down. And he doesn't have an easy match here again today against Christian Snyder, who's 10-5. And 4 of his last 6 matches he won by pin. So Snyder, as we mentioned, one of the gateway wrestlers to highlight. And you see right there, he gets a good shot, deep double leg takedown. And a good job by Gallucci just to belly down and
kind of work his way around here. But now Gallucci in the heavy defensive here. Snyder has him where he wants him. Gallucci trying to build that bridge here against Snyder. Snyder has him wrapped up. And he gets the pin. So pin for pin between Sterling and Gateway. We're all tied up here at 6 after Snyder gets the pin on Gallucci.
We're going to take another look at it right here. Gallucci trying to keep his right shoulder off the mat by keeping that right arm up. But as soon as he drags that right arm back down, the referee sticks him with the pin. And now, as a team tied at 6 apiece, and I think, Dan, when both these teams came into this match, they both thought it was a winnable match for them. Sterling sitting at 5-5. Gateway sitting at 3-8, and these matches are important too because both in the same division, trying to move up the divisional standings here in the Colonial Patriot.
Indeed. So now we have Thomas Fitzgerald, the freshman, sitting at 3-10 against Leo Butler. who's sitting at 10-7, and Butler already on the offensive gets a takedown and early 3 points here against Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald going to have to play this one off of his stomach.
Going to take a look at it. Just a quick early takedown there from Leo Butler.
And now he's going to work on the ground game here. Leo Butler, a sophomore, 10-7 record. His last match against Haddonfield, he won in a 6-5 decision. He's won the last 3 matches between Ocean City, Eastern, and Haddonfield, and his last loss came on the 11th of January against Williamstown.
A very talented wrestler, one that we highlighted in the open here tonight. Going up against Thomas Fitzgerald, who, as we mentioned, 106 through 120 for Sterling. They're all freshmen, so they're all trying to figure it out early in their career at the varsity level, which is not an easy task to do, especially when you're going up against people that may be 2 to 3 years older than you who have more experience.
And we saw a pretty big glaring, sign of that when we saw them going against Audubon the other night. I mean, just a lot of more experienced wrestlers in the Sterling team, but this program definitely on the up. I mean, Coach Wiggins has done a great job with this program and kind of recruiting the kids to, keep them in it, keep the spirits in it, and a program that is just going to keep soaring up with the amount of kids they get with JV and the kids they get in the middle school programs as well. So now working here is Fitzgerald trying to fight off here, trying to build a bridge. And Leo Butler gets the pin. So a pin for Butler, a pin for Snyder. They go back-to-back, and now Sterling finds himself on a 6-point deficit.
And I like what Butler did here. He had the arm bar, and you can see he still has it. But when Fitzgerald did a good job of countering the arm bar, he went and ran a half and kept that arm bar. So now Fitzgerald gets put on his back, and one of his arms is completely taken away for him to try and base. Good job by Leo Butler there to just put one move into another and end up going away and getting 6 points with the pin.
So it'll be Aiden Barbado against Joseph Rogers here at the 126. Barbado, definitely one of the most talented wrestlers on this Gateway squad. 11-6 record as a junior. Last match against Haddonfield, he lost by a pin, but he has 2 wins by tech fall against Williamstown and Eastern. Both of those came on the 11th of January. Rogers definitely has himself a handful.
Yeah, and looking at Joseph Rogers, last match against West Effort, he lost by pin. However, he came in third at the Clayton Clipper Classic, and he has pins against Palmyra, Pittman, and Lindenwald earlier this year with a 5-8 record in his senior campaign.
I know Joe. Joe, definitely a wrestler with just a lot of heart. Just a lot of heart, determination. He's a strong kid, and definitely going to be interesting to see how he does against a very, very talented Barbado.
You can definitely tell Joe is very passionate about what he does in wrestling. He's a very hyper movement.
Yeah, and you saw it early. You can even hear Coach Wiggins tell him to try and slow down. There's still a lot of time left in the match, but Joe Rogers going right off the whistle with 100% intensity.
So Joe now finds himself in a little bit of a defensive position here. He is down 3-0 thus far here against Barbado. Joe trying to turn around, but Barbado doing a good job of keeping himself on the offensive, Time ticking down.
And right now for Rogers, you got to know where you're at on the mat. Just try and circle as they did right there. Force yourself out of bounds. You're not in the greatest of spots. It looked like Barbado was trying to lock up an armbar from the offensive position. So Rogers wise to just get outside the circle and then work back in the middle to reset.
So we've had three matches, 3 pins thus far. Police got an early pin in the 106 match. Snyder and Butler then went against each other. Snyder and Butler then got pins for the Gateway side, and now Barbado versus Rogers looking quite competitive thus far. But now Barbado getting himself in a good position here. Barbado looking for the pin, and Barbado gets it. Pin after pin after pin here for the Gateway Gators. They get an 18-6 lead over the Knights.
We're going to take another look at it. And you see right there, Rogers is holding on to Barbado's head, and that's what allows for him to get leverage to turn him over to his back. If Rogers lets go of that arm and just bellies down, he can maybe fight to the end of the period. But instead, holds on. You're going to see it right there. He holds on to his head, and that allows for Barbado to get his arm, force him to his back, and now Barbado has control of Rogers' arm, and for that reason, sticks him on his back. And before I even got the chance, Rogers did a good job of exploding up off the whistle. Took a bad shot, and then Barbado was able to capitalize and put him on his back.
So now it'll be Joseph Carter, the junior, very talented football player, but also so talented on the wrestling mat. Placed first at the Clayton Clipper Classic. He's a 10-7 record as a junior. He lost against West Effort by tech fall, but he has 3 wins by pin and 1 by tech fall, and he's going to be going against the 6-9 Steven Erickson here for the Gateway Gators. Erickson, he's lost the last 3 matches. His last win was against Williamstown, which was on the 11th by tech fall. So he's looking to get back here in the win column here against a very, very talented Joseph Carter.
Yeah, both these wrestlers super talented. And I mean, for Erickson, a 6-9 record as a sophomore is nothing to hang your hat on. But a good shot there from Carter.
Carter going on the offensive here against Erickson, pointing out the weak point, trying to grab that left leg, but Erickson does a good job of escaping as we take a look at the replay.
He saw the takedown, good job, and he kept his head right in the gut of Erickson. Did a good job. They call that a blast double. He just had his head in there and he just blasted him right down. Instead of getting his head out on the side for a normal double leg takedown, hits him with the blast double, gets the takedown, and it's 3 points.
So Carter now trying to use his speed to his advantage. Does a good job of getting Erickson onto his back, and now Carter looking for the pin here. Carter does a great job of getting him onto his side. Trying to get the back points. Carter's going to have to slam that right shoulder down here. He gets him down. Ref counting the back points here. Carter staying persistent here against Erickson. Carter has him where he wants him here. Carter just still trying to force that shoulder down. Erickson trying to build the bridge here against Carter.
Well, Carter has plenty of time, about 25 seconds.
And he gets the pin. Joseph Carter clapping right back against Erickson. Sterling now only down by 6.
You can see Erickson tries to reposition and roll his body through, but he was unable to do so. And good job by JoJo Carter there to just get his weight right, get his chest on his chest, get Erickson in the position that he wanted him.
So now it'll be Dylan Letzkus against Cameron Johnson here at the 138 match. Cameron Johnson 5-8 as a sophomore. Letzkus 4-13 as a junior. So a good competitive match here between Johnson and Letzkus. Letzkus has the upper body frame advantage, but Johnson's still very powerful from his lower half. There's an early start here by Letzkus. Johnson gets back up on his feet, and they lock up.
And as you mentioned, Dan, it looks like Letzkus has the upper body advantage, so he's going to want to go to that collar tie, whereas you might try and see Johnson work outside of it, just try and grab wrists, stay out of the collar tie. But right now, it looks like Johnson wants to play that game with him.
Yeah, very physical game here. As I mentioned, I mean, Johnson's going to have to be careful, and something I can just tell by is Johnson definitely the more speedier wrestler. But now Letzkus showing a little bit of that speed, getting Johnson where he wants him. Gets the takedown points. Letzkus going to slam Johnson down. Has him on his stomach.
Now it looks like Letzkus trying to lock up the cradle off of that outside single.
Johnson does a good job of rolling out of it. Letzkus still trying to lock up that cradle. Now has him where he wants him. Johnson in a little bit of trouble here, and Letzkus gets the pin. 6 matches, 6 pins. 4 of them have gone in favor of Gateway. Sterling now down by 12 once again.
We're going to take a look at it. You mentioned it was a good job to just belly down, but Johnson didn't break the grip that Letzkus had on that cradle, and it allowed for Letzkus to reposition. We're going to look at it again. So he bellied down, but Letzkus still had the grip of that cradle. Sits him back, has the cradle tight. Great technique there, and just locks it up for the pin. And now Sterling trailing on the scoreboard 24-12.
So now it will be J.J. Williams trying to get them back into contention here against Gateway, against Tavian Benoit of the Gateway Gators. J.J. Williams, 2-4 record as a sophomore. His last match, he won by a 13-9 decision against West Effort, and also won against Lindenwold by pin. And then the other side of things, Benoit, 6-10 record as a senior. Only 1 match at the 138, but right now he's wrestling at the 144. His last win was against Haddonfield. He won by a major decision on a final score of 12-1. So him and Williams now in the neutral position in the middle.
Oh, Benoit also an 11-4 win against Williamstown back on January 11th. part of his 6-10 record.
Williams now looking to get himself out of this one. Benoit tried for a very early takedown attempt, but Williams did a good job of defending, staying strong, using his lower body to just kind of power through and got himself out of bounds.
Good job by Williams just fending that one off and then knowing where he was on the mat to just work out of bounds, reset.
So for what it looks like right now, Jake, is Benoit very, very, very attack. Like, he's very attack heavy, very on the offensive a lot of the time. Now Williams gives him a jab at his own, but they both lock up once again.
And see that aggressiveness from Benoit, an early stall warning against Williams for Sterling. He's got to try and match the aggressiveness of Benoit, or at least try and work forward, because you could tell during that last series of action, you could see that Benoit was just driving Williams towards the outside of the circle. He's doing it here again, where Williams has to try and work forward, or else he might get hit with another stall and trail this match 1-0.
So Williams now playing a little bit of defense here against Benoit. 20 seconds to go here in period number 1. Williams finally makes a move, gets him down for 3. Great job there by Williams. Williams now has Benoit on his stomach. Gonna have to flip him over here as we take a look at the replay.
And this is a great job by Williams, who's been so passive and played this match with a defensive mindset, but a good job. He just catches Benoit out of position, sees the opportunity, and takes advantage of it. Now short time, but right now 9 seconds left and a 3-0 lead here for Williams.
So Williams, again, with short amount of time here, Benoit tries to roll out. Williams does a good job of trying to keep him on the offensive. Doesn't want to give Benoit a point before this goes out. He does a good job of doing so as he takes a 3-0 advantage to start.
I really like what Williams did right there. A fantastic job. Yeah, Dan, I was going to mention that you did the motion that Benoit was doing with his crossface. He was getting a little aggressive, and it almost looked like we don't have enough time for another look at that, but it looked like he was balling a fist with it, and that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye out for. Got to keep it as a hand, if that makes sense. It's not a fist. You can't ball your hand into a fist. It has to stay out flat for that crossface.
It's just what I had noticed, towards the end there, as he was trying to escape and try and get at least 1 point before that first period ended. It looked like the crossface that you mentioned, he was going pretty aggressive with that. So definitely have to be careful with this. But now period number 2 with Williams with a 3-0 lead over Benoit. This has been a really, really good match to start. Two very even competitors.
He can definitely tell how Jaden is very serious about and passionate about wanting to win this match, that he knows that he has his hand full during this.
He's done such an impressive job. He gives up the escape there, but he's done such an impressive job. With Benoit really going out of his way to set the pace of this match, for Williams to be leading 3-1 and being the more defensive wrestler shows just how well he's been able to fend off all of these takedown attempts from Benoit at the neutral position.
So definitely the most competitive match thus far tonight, as Williams and Benoit head into just a minute left here in period number 2.
We have all pins to this point.
Yeah.
All
first round?
All
first period.
This might be the longest match of the night, therefore making it the most competitive here, Dan.
Thank you, Jake. So Williams now, again, trying to play this defensive against Benoit, has that left wrist here of Williams. Tries to go underneath. Williams does a good job of defending at first, but Benoit does a good job going on the offensive, and now Williams in some trouble. Benoit with 39 seconds to execute here against Williams.
And that was a really good job there by Benoit with the wrist control. We're going to take another look at it right here. He has the wrist, and then he just throws it right under. Williams needs to try and get his hips away to get an escape here.
Williams still trying to fight away. Benoit trying to just tackle him down. They go out of bounds here with 19.6 seconds to go in period number 2.
Williams did a good job getting up to his feet, but he just had to get his hips away. And if you see some of the other wrestlers, they get their hips away from the person that's behind them, their opponent that's behind them. He had to also break the grip, but a good job by Williams. He got up to his feet.
Benoit now, Williams back, stomach face down. Trying to crawl himself out of here with 7 seconds left here in period number 2, not allowing himself to give up any other points. Benoit trying to drive him onto his back, realizing how much time is left, has his hand pressed on the head, and then that is it. And you can follow us on Twitter or X for our athletic directors page at Go Night Sports. It'll be our athletic director, Ken Sayano, giving you guys the updates of Sterling sports happening around the castle. Make sure you guys go follow him on X or Instagram at Go Night Sports. So we get our question of the day here. It is, what is the venue of the 20th WrestleMania? Ooh, that is tough. So we're going to get back to the action here for a minute. We're going to answer that once this match is over. Thinking of some pretty major cities here.
That one, I can't help you with.
Yeah, I'm a little stuck myself. Kind of relying here on Logan Murphy in the truck to feed us an answer. Williams now trying to get out of bounds. A very aggressive slam there by Benoit. So my guess, I want to say, that's a good guess. I was going to guess that too. So in the truck, they guess Madison Square Garden. I'm going to go with I'm going to go Miami, Florida. I do not think that's right. So we have Madison Square Garden, Miami, Florida. Jake, if you could shout out a guess as this match continues to go on here.
I'm going to go with the city that's most close to us, Philadelphia. Either the Wells Fargo Center, Lincoln Financial, if they were to do something in the summer.
I was also thinking Los Angeles as well. Addison, do you have a guess?
Yeah, I was about to say Los Angeles as well.
All right, so we have MSG, Miami, Philly, Los Angeles. We are ready for our answer, MSG! So the guys in the truck got it right. Logan Murphy gets his 1-0 advantage. Thank you, Mr. Sayana. But now back to the action on the mat, as Benoit still has that 4-3 advantage here over Williams. Williams definitely losing some energy here as Benoit has been driving his upper half into Williams for these past couple of minutes.
Well, now he needs to escape, and this is what we talked about. He's got to break the grip and get his hips away. He's not getting his hips away. He's trying to just break the grip, and the ref takes a tumble with the wrestlers.
Whistle blows. I don't think I've ever seen that before, Jay.
Well, and I don't know. He gets in the way of Williams. So you can hear the Sterling bench kind of getting frustrated with the official that he's in the way and that Williams could have potentially gotten away and gotten his hips out if the ref were not in the way. However, now Sean Clank going to take a look at the official, but you could hear some of the Sterling crowd and Coach Desmond Wiggins not happy with that. But just got to hope that the official's okay. I've never seen that before. I've never seen an official get in the way of the match to the point where he's fallen over.
With your relatively long wrestling career, either wrestling or watching, it's actually shocking to me that you've never seen something like that. I know I haven't. But what you guys missed a couple of moments ago is Williams was very close to getting an escape against Benoit.
They just get a stall warning on Benoit there. Each wrestler now has one apiece. The next stall warning issued to either side will result in a point. Now you hear the Gateway side getting into it, saying, how is there not stalling on Williams?
Williams trying to escape here, so close. Both wrestlers go out. So, set the scene here. 27 seconds left, period number 3. Benoit up 4-3. Both crowds getting into it. Sterling down by 12 here total against Gateway.
Well, and this is an important match, Dan, especially because Sterling wants to try and get back into it. Gateway wants to increase their lead, and knowing that Gateway has some forfeits.
Williams escapes. We're all tied up here. 17 seconds to go.
He's got to be careful not to run away from him here. If he runs away, it's a stall. He's got to kick his hips back and sprawl. If he spins behind.
Needs to sprawl. He needs to sprawl.
He's got the sprawl, but he's got to spin behind now with short time.
He does not get it.
Wow.
He does not get it. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. I mean, so he gets out. I'm shocked there was no stall here on Williams, and I partially agree with Gateway, the fact that he just ran around the mat. But there it is. It doesn't matter. Jaden Williams. Fantastic win against Tavian Benoit. Great effort from both wrestlers to send that one into the sudden death overtime. We're going to take a look at it.
What an absolute match. And I mean, just the quick advantage. To me, it looked like Benoit was not ready. And like when you watch
take a look at it, Benoit's the one being aggressive. He takes the whistle shot, but Williams is ready for it. And he kicks his hips back. He sprawls. He's able to spin behind. You can see there the emotion. He celebrates with his teammates. What a fantastic win for the sophomore and Jaden Williams.
Wow.
A big win here in his young career.
Wow. Definitely the best match of the year that we've covered here, and both crowds getting so into it. Just complete back and forth, 3 periods and into extra, and I mean, that escape, exhilarating. Sterling bench was on their feet. The crowd was on their feet. What a moment. As now we're here with Winters versus Alvarez. Winters trying to keep that momentum here for Sterling.
Well, that's it. That was such a huge win for the Knights. You got a senior for Gateway who had controlled the pace of that match the entire time, Dan.
Yeah.
And then Williams able to just get a couple lucky bounces his way. Now Winters with a takedown here early against Gio Alvarez. Alvarez 2-10 on the year. His 2 wins are by pin, both on the 4th of January against Winslow and Buna. So we take another look.
And I mean, Jake, the way this kind of started here, it was a pin for Police, and then 3 straight pins for Gateway, and then a pin by Carter, and then another pin for Gateway. So that match was huge in terms of the fact that they could not lose, as Sterling would be taking a pretty major deficit, pretty major hit against Gateway. But now Winters trying to go on the offensive here with 45 seconds left.
Yeah, you saw there he tried to have the armbar, and you saw Winters trying to step to the head of Alvarez. I like what Declan Winters is doing here, applying forward pressure and making it difficult for Alvarez there in the defensive position.
So now Winters still applying that pressure here against Alvarez.
See, he has the armbar, and he has to try and walk towards the head of Alvarez. Now he's going to reset, try and work something else.
Alvarez trying to escape here. Winters does a good job of driving his upper half into Alvarez. And you can follow us on Twitter or X at Sterling TV 19, where we'll have live updates of all the things happening here on Sterling Channel 19, and then, of course, the live updates of all the things happening around the castle. So make sure you guys go follow us on Twitter or X at Sterling TV 19. So good round 1 here between Winters and Alvarez. Winters with a 3-0 lead over Alvarez here in period number 2.
Sterling was the one to defer. Gateway elected to go in the defensive position. So Sterling will have choice if this match gets to the 3rd.
So now Winters, again, driving down Alvarez here. Alvarez trying to power himself back up.
And a great job there by Declan Winters to just break the base of Alvarez and now flatten him out. This is a good position here for Declan Winters. This is where he wants to be.
Our next TV game will be next Tuesday, January 21st. It'll be boys basketball versus West Deptford. So a very, very fun game. That'll be streamed once again here live on Sterling Channel 19. West Deptford actually just upsetted Woodbury, who was in first. Woodbury lost to Sterling earlier this year after a last-second swat block by Travis Schmid. So Sterling definitely has their hands full to try and get back into the swing of things in the division. Kind of fell into a slump, had a 3-game skid, got a big win against Paulsboro yesterday. And then once again, we'll try and get back into the swing of things. How's the MLK tournament this weekend at Highland, as we're looking at a big moment here for Declan Winters on the mat. Winters going to get some back points here, gets the pin! Declan Winters played the long game against Alvarez, and it worked in his favor as he gets the pin.
Well, Dan, he was in control of that match from start to finish against Gio Alvarez, and a good job. He runs the armbar, finally is able to walk up and turn Alvarez. As we take a look at it right here, you see he just catches Alvarez on his back. Great use of the armbar right there. Gets his 6. And so a forfeit for Gateway at 157. So Victor Romano gets his 5th win of the year by forfeit.
So Sterling now has taken the lead with that forfeit. And it looks like John Beasley out on the mat, but it looks like it'll be yet another forfeit there. So Sterling now taking some extra points. So 33-24 now the scoring here between Sterling and Gateway.
And this is a problem, Dan, that Sterling had struggled with in previous years, not having a full lineup. And this is something.
So now a Gateway here against Sterling. I'm not totally sure who they put out on the mat for Gateway. So now, Rene now on the mat here, wrestling 175. We got it. So Noah Boykin on the mat here for Gateway, going here against Rene Camacho. Boykin has the height advantage over Camacho. Camacho we know is a very, very strong lower half wrestler. Trying to wear down Boykin as they go towards the edge of the mat. He's trying to get the leg in the sweep, but he could not. Boykin trying to take him down as well. Kind of bit of this grapple and a big slam there by Camacho. He gets himself 3 points. Camacho now trying to flip Boykin onto his back. Camacho with the advantage. Boykin trying to stay in this match.
And Camacho's got to look to stay in bounds.
And he does. Big pin by Camacho. The sophomore, 10-5 on the year, just got his 10th win in the double digits. And Camacho, just such a big win for Sterling as they are now up by 15. So now, at the 175 match now, it'll be Anthony Gogolski.
So Gogolski just trying to stay loose. It looks like Gateway has a wrestler ready.
Yes, they do.
It might have just been
a little delayed.
The decision of sometimes there's two guys that you're debating on sending out.
So it'll be Shane Young here going against Anthony Gogolski. Young with a 2-14 record. His last match lost by pin against Haddonfield. He won versus Winslow by pin on the 4th of January. And Gogo, on the other hand, 8-3 record as a senior. Now Gogo with the upper hand early. Gogo with this early slick takedown here against Young. Gogo has to try and get him on his back. Foley has to get that other shoulder blade down. Young staying strong, not letting that one fall.
Gogolski's in a good position here regardless. Now trying to get Foley on top. Good job chain wrestling there and sticks him. Looking for a pin here.
And he gets it. So back-to-back pins here for the Knights. Gogolski and Camacho. Sterling now up 45-24.
That was a good job by Gogolski. He went right off the whistle. Very aggressive. We're going to take another look at it. You see, he readjusted to try and get his chest on chest and then was able to get the left shoulder blade of Shane Young down onto the mat to successfully get the pin.
So Dunn now going against McCardle as we take a look at the Gogolski replay. So it'll be Declan Dunn going against Big Papa Ken. As McCardle in the headlock here with Dunn. Dunn has only wrestled one time this year. It was on the 15th against Haddonfield. He lost by a pin. Now Gogo with the that is McCardle with the early takedown and the 3 points. Has that back, I want to say right leg hooked up between his legs, so kind of has him where he wants him here, Jake.
Yeah, he has control of the lower body. We're going to take a look at it. A nice job getting the single leg takedown there from Kenny McCardle. And he had the leg for a second, lost it, but still in a good spot here. Has Dunn off of his base and now
looking for the pin. Yeah, has him on his back. Dunn now in some trouble. McCardle on top, and he gets the pin. 3 straight pins as Kenny McCardle dominance over Declan Dunn.
Sterling won every match so far since 150 or since 144 after Jaden Williams.
I think we are at the last match of the night. It will be between Desi Mullen and Isaiah Hartman at the 285 weight class. So Sterling has officially won for the first time against the Gateway Gators since 2011. So it was almost, 14 years ago since they last beat Gateway. And this, Jake, such a huge landmark for the Sterling, club.
Yeah, I think it shows that Sterling is moving in the right direction. I mean, we saw for a few years it was a struggle trying to even get a full lineup. They have a full lineup, and now, Dan, a pretty good one at that, with some talented wrestlers at the lighter weights and the upper weights, as Mullen has taken on Hartman. Gets the takedown.
And last time we covered Mullen, Jake, a very, very great match against one of the Audubon seniors, where it did end at the very last second with Mullen giving up and losing a little bit of stamina, but now Mullen on top once again. Mullen now with the pressure here against Hartman.
Well, and I think that match, we're going to take a look at the takedown by Mullen. It looked like Hartman was trying to throw a headlock. Mullen gets his head popped out and is able to get behind for the takedown. But, Dan, that match against Audubon for Desi Mullen really came down to just his inexperience, some of the growing pains that you're going to get when you throw a freshman out in the lineup. We saw him, he was getting out of his stance late into that match, and it was because he was tired. And because he was tired, he ended up giving up the takedown at the end. And I went up to him after the match because I saw he was distressed and upset. And I said, man, if you condition just a little bit better, you're going to be such a threat at the weight class that you're at as a freshman, and you still have years to just go out and try. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the match is 6 minutes, but it's a long 6 minutes out there as Mullen locks his hands on top. So Hartman has an opportunity to get a free move. He does. He gets 1 point for the locked hands, 1 point for the escape. So 3-2 still in favor of Desi Mullen.
Now we know Mullen, just a great athlete all around. Very, very, quick for his size, and plays the line for our Sterling football team. He does wrestling here as well. They actually did Jake, I don't think you were there. I think they did a little tush push with Desi at one point because of his size.
They did.
It was very lethal. There really no stopping Desi. Is now Desi looking for the advantage, looking for a little bit of the sweep of the leg, and he gets on top and gets the takedown. Give Desi another 3 points as the time is ticking down.
Well, you can see this right here. He does a good job. He catches Hartman out of his stance and then does a good job of taking out that leg.
So now 6-2 after 2, as Sterling has deferred and given the option to Gateway. So it looked like Gateway will start on the bottom. Mullen will start on top. Again, the last match of the night with Sterling officially sealing the win here against the Gateway Gators for the first time since 2011. Postgame to follow with a couple of the wrestlers as well. Definitely going to feature J.J. Williams on this postgame, as he just had an electric match against Benoit.
Oh, it was really the turning point of the entire match. Sterling has yet to lose a match since 144, granted a couple of forfeits in there.
And Jake, that they mention a lot about how wrestling being an individual sport is. Now Mullen has Hartman where he wants him. Hartman trying to roll out of bad position, and he does. But as I was saying, Jake, they mention wrestling as a very individual sport, but that was one of the moments where it really turned into a team sport. As now Mullen has Hartman where he wants him. Mullen trying to end this off on an exclamation point. Does he have him? Yes, he does! Game, set, match. And Mullen pins Hartman for the last match of the night.
And a good way to bounce back there for Desi Mullen, especially he bounced back against West Deptford, won the match by pin. And then you saw it again. He comes back, his second win in a row. A good sign to see after a tough loss against Audubon earlier this week.
What a night for this Sterling wrestling team. What a day for Sterling. And they cap off the win with a final score of 57-24. Post-game show to follow as we take a look at the Movie Man Palace. We'll be right back at you after this short commercial break.
What made you become a bully?
Twerk! Twerk! Whoa, nice one, man. You should start hanging with me.
Okay.
Yo, Dave, look at this. Go show him who's boss.
Hey. Danny, go to VPO.
Well, you know, Mr. Jericho, I guess it started with peer pressure.
I'm out of beer! Well, we need to go get some more. It's still dry. Yeah, let's go!
Dude, take the seatbelts off. What are we doing? Yeah, you're right. I'm ready to drive. Yeah!
Don't drink and drive.
Welcome back to Sterling Channel 19 as I'm here for the post game after Sterling beats Gateway 57-24, and I'm here with by far the best match of the night and the winner of that best match, JJ Williams. Now, JJ, that match went into extra time. Can you tell us about the stamina that took to push you to the very, very end?
It's all about willpower, man. If you're not willing to endure all that pain, all the suffering you put in practice, you're never going to win. It's all about digging deep in yourself and finding your way through.
Now, I mean, we know you're a big athlete. I mean, talk to me about how exhilarated you felt once you got that win.
Man, I felt great. I knew we were down points. We needed a big win, a big team morale booster, so I had to get it done for my team.
Can you tell me about a little bit of just some of the strategy that you kind of took going into that? You're going against a senior. You're a sophomore, a little bit inexperienced compared to him. I mean, just run us through, what you're thinking as that match goes on.
I knew he was at the start he was really aggressive, so I knew my defense was going to win. I waited for every shot, every chance, every opportunity I could to reshot, defense, sprawl out, down block, everything. It took everything that I knew to win that match, and I just got it done.
Now, I'm not sure if you know, but this is Sterling's first win against Gateway since 2011. In almost 14 years, you guys haven't beat Gateway, and now you do. How does it feel to be a big part of that process?
Man, it really does feel great. Once you get a big win for your team, your school, your legacy, it really makes you feel something inside. It really does.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Congratulations. And then next, my boy, Big Diesel Desi Mullen. A big match at the very end there with a big pin to follow. I mean, how are you feeling, Des?
I'm feeling great. We put a lot of time in practice to work hard. We haven't beat them in forever, so Coach Des was really hard on us at practice to beat them, and we finally did it.
I was just about to mention that, Des, and I mean, I know I haven't been here for a while. I mean, this is your first year on the Sterling team, and I mean, to get that win for this program and to really, show how far you guys have gotten, how does that feel for you?
It feels amazing. I'm trying to fill the shoes of someone great before me, Nico, but I'm trying my hardest, and we have a great team. We're going to make it big because we're a young team.
Now, I mean, he was very aggressive towards the end there, and I mean, talk to me about, kind of the strategies that were kind of going through your head to, kind of make sure you ensured yourself a win in that match.
The strategies were apply as much pressure as I could on him so he couldn't get up, because once he got up, I knew he would try to shoot or, use his strength against me, which I really don't have, but I have speed against people my size, so I tried to use that against him and my endurance to beat him. So,
Big Diesel Des, congratulations, buddy. Thank you for coming on. And the next, it'll be Anthony Gogolski. Now, one of the senior captains on this team, and I mean, he had a relatively easy match tonight, but talk about this win for the team and how this is going to, kind of shoot you guys in a very positive direction.
Dan, well, this is the first time in 14 years we beat Gateway. We came out and we stepped on the gas pedal. We had a couple losses in the beginning of the match, but we didn't let that affect us, and we got a lot of crucial wins when we needed them, and that's how we came out ahead.
And you're having yourself a great season. I mean, walk us through how you're feeling about, just wrestling and how much it's done for you in the long run for everything that you do, outside of school for your baseball and stuff like that.
Wrestling is more than a sport. It shapes your life, You know, it's one of the hardest sports out there, and it trains you for anything that you'll have to overcome or conquer in life. So it's definitely it helps me in baseball 100%. Obviously, it keeps my cardio and keeps me in shape. But wrestling mentally molds you and physically molds you, and it's something you don't forget your whole life.
And I mean, as a senior, to watch some of these kids grow and, you know, develop as wrestlers, how does that feel for you to watch the development of all these kids?
I mean, it's amazing. Some of these guys came in not knowing anything, and now they're out here. Dez, you know, Coach Brown, they got them doing a lot of different stuff. We had a lot of young guys come in here that are going out now and doing really good and bringing the pressure.
So you're amped up, Go-Go, so I'm going to let you go. Congratulations, buddy. Thank you for coming on. So next, last but certainly not least, coming to my right here, as he brings it in for a big hug, is Kenny McCardle. Now, Ken, I mean, this is your thing, man. And just walk us through, you know, the emotions going through your head right now.
You know, that's a big win. I think it's about 14 years or something. 14 years, and just be able to get that done for my coach and for my team, you know, it means everything.
As a senior leader, as a senior captain, I'm going to mention a different match, but watching JJ going through that match, going through the battle, I mean, walk us through what you were given to him, some advice you were given to him, screaming from the bench throughout. I mean, how are you feeling?
You know, I don't need to say anything to him. He knows what it is. He knows what to do, you know. We train hard, we work hard. You know, you saw Monday night, that wasn't our performance, not by anyone on our team. So, you know, we'll get that back, but we focus on what's to come and what is in the present, you know.
I mean, Ken, just to get this win, again, 14 years, I mean, and to be in this wrestling program for as long as you've been, what emotions does that bring out of you?
You know, it means a lot. I can't even put it into words. This season means a lot. You know, it's my senior year. Last time I'm ever doing this, you know, starting off on a good note. You know, I took some losses earlier in the season that, you know, shouldn't.
Best 190 in South Jersey, baby, right here.
A few losses that I shouldn't have lost, shouldn't have taken, but, you know, stuff happens. It is what it is. All we can do is work and get better and veg those losses, you know. You know, working through this program, coming up for the past 10 years I've been here, it's awesome to see, you know.
Ken, congratulations, buddy. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And I'm going to have Coach Wiggins on the broadcast now. Last but certainly not least, I mean, the man behind it all. And I mean, Coach, I'm going to ask you a pretty general question. You guys have filled out the lineup for the first time in a pretty long time. Yeah. And to get this program to where it is, how does it feel for you to watch these kids succeed?
It's rewarding because, again, like I said, it's always about the kids and what they're doing. And, you know, it's like I said, dude, when you don't have a full lineup, that's a major deal. I mean, you're basically starting off, honestly, anywhere from the 12-0. It's really what we call a 24-point swing when you don't have, you know, missing 2 weights for the last 2 years, man. So it's a big deal, and I'm excited for the kids.
I mean, and I know you've coached Williams on the football field and out here on the wrestling mat. Talk about that roller coaster of emotions that you were feeling throughout that match.
He is the epitome. So the funny thing is he won our Unsung Hero Award for our entire team for football, man. He's a kid that just wants to give it his all. He does it on the football field, man, and I expect no less from him from wrestling, man. He's just coming into his 3rd year, and, man, he's a workhorse, you know what I mean? Like wrestling room, weight room, the field, man. He gives everything he got, and you love coaching a kid like that.
Talk about, I mean, we saw it after, you know, he got his big win, the bench is jumping up in the air. Clue us in on how tight the team is this year, just really the team chemistry. And they say it's an individual sport, but that really showed a big moment with the team.
Absolutely. I think wrestling is a unique sport because you work so hard. Everyone knows they're doing things like individually, but at the same time, there's so much work that goes into it. Everyone's blood, sweat, and tears, and so they get excited for one another, man. The team is really knit together. The seniors really pull for the freshmen are pulling for the seniors, man. And JJ, man, he's just a lovable guy. Everybody loves him. They love the way he works, the way he steps in. And actually, you know, JJ has really been like a JV wrestler for half the season. And now we've been putting him on varsity, man, and he's been showing his stripes, man, and then just been doing his work. And we're just excited for him and the team.
Coach Wiggins, congratulations. Thank you for coming on.
Man, absolutely.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to send it back to my good friend at the broadcast table, Jake Clark. Jake?
Thank you, Dan. Tremendous job on the post game. Our next TV game here for Sterling Channel 19 will be Tuesday, January 21st. It's going to be basketball, 5:30 tip-off, Sterling versus West Deptford. So a fun Colonial matchup. As always, you can catch that live on Channel 19, and the link is below, youtube.com/SterlingTV19. So for Dan and myself and Addison for joining us here on the broadcast, that'll do it as Sterling wraps up a good in-division win in the Colonial Patriot, 57-24. I'm Jay Clark here with Dan Leakin right behind me.